is Valley News Live at 4.
We start with breaking news this afternoon. We now know the name of the man in custody after driving through a Christmas parade in Wisconsin, leaving 5 people dead, 48 injured. We also know a little bit more about those who died. Marissa Parra has the latest from Waukesha, Wisconsin.
Police have identified the driver of this SUV who plowed into a crowd at a holiday parade in Waukesha, Wisconsin as 39-year-old Daryl Brooks of Milwaukee. Police say he was fleeing a domestic disturbance and that he acted alone.
There's no evidence that this is a terrorist incident.
We got about 10 to 15 people down in the street. We also got multiple critical cases.
Police say an officer shot at the SUV to try to stop it, but had to stop firing to avoid the crowd. The 5 victims who died range in age between 52 to 81 years old.
Waukesha has held what can be described as a Norman Rockwell type of Christmas parade for almost 6 decades. Last night, our wonderful Waukesha parade became the scene of a horrific tragedy.
We saw the whole thing happen.
Richard Locke's son and niece were marching in the parade, came home later to find that same SUV went through his yard, damaging a car.
You think in hindsight about what response you could have to stop the guy, and it's just, you know, even if I was right in front of it, it would have been hard to stop it. I mean, he was going probably 30 to 35 miles an hour when he went past.
Main Street where this happened is now back open, but what remains is the paint where police marked off evidence left on the road. President Biden spoke about the tragedy this afternoon.
And an entire community is struggling to cope with the horrific act of violence.
Brooks will face 5 counts of first-degree intentional homicide, and possibly other charges could be coming. Marissa Parra, CBS News, Waukesha, Wisconsin.
A vigil will be held in Waukesha this evening. Meanwhile, Wisconsin Governor Tony Evers has ordered flags fly at half-staff in the wake of the holiday parade tragedy. Flags over the state capitol in Madison flew at half-staff this morning. The short work week is off to a good start from a weather standpoint. I assume most of you are very interested in what's to come. And here's Hutch to begin our coverage. Hutch?
Well, we got a little bit of challenges as we head toward that big holiday. We'll have an update on that. But for tonight, Monday's been magnificent, and weather doesn't have any limitations for us on this Monday evening. Take a look at the satellite. We do have a few clouds spilling over, and in fact, radar shows a little bit of snow along a boundary. Pay attention to where that boundary is, where the snow showers are, and we have, well, that's the cold boundary. Temperatures to the north and to the east of the FM area drop fairly quickly. 21s for Roseau and Baudette. And look at this, it's almost 50 in Bismarck, and it is in the low 50s in Mobridge, South Dakota. So here in Fargo, we're kind of halfway on that boundary. We'll have a fair amount of high clouds over the area, and overnight, notice temperatures flatline here as we go through the late night hours. So get out and enjoy light winds. We do have some challenges, though, for travelers on Wednesday. It does not look like horrendous conditions, but I'll have details on where we may see snow as colder weather heads our way. And we're going to talk about a terrific Tuesday, Mike, here in just a few moments. Temperatures that look to be pretty nice for many.
Good. I can't wait. Thanks.
You bet.
In other news today, a man is dead, 2 other people hurt after a head-on crash in the northern part of the valley. Investigators say a driver crossed the center line on Highway 59 near Thief River Falls just after midnight and hit an oncoming car head-on. The 40-year-old man who died is from St. Paul, but troopers aren't releasing his name yet. The 2 people in the other car are from Red Lake Falls and were told they were not seriously hurt. As prices go up, President Biden's approval ratings are going down. A new poll shows 2/3 of Americans disapprove of how the president is handling inflation. Jobless claims fell to a pandemic low in the latest report, and retail sales were up last month for the 3rd straight month. However, his approval rating is just at 44%, the lowest in CBS News polling since he took office. The president's advisors hope his social spending bill will bring political and economic relief, but opponents say it could have the opposite effect.
This idea that we're going to spend $1.75 trillion, but trust us, it's not going to cost you anything. Nobody buys that. The American people are smart. They're voters. They are going to vote with their feet. And if people did buy it, you'd see poll numbers changing.
President Biden is looking for stability at the Federal Reserve to continue what he calls remarkable progress emerging from a pandemic recession. He announced that he would nominate Trump appointee Jerome Powell for a second 4-year term as Fed chairman. New for you now at 4 o'clock. Vice President Kamala Harris has announced that the Biden administration is investing $1.5 billion from the coronavirus aid package to address the healthcare worker shortage in underserved communities. The funding will be used for scholarships and loan repayments for healthcare students and workers if they pledge to work in underserved and high-risk communities. The money will support more than 22,000 providers, marking the largest number of providers enrolled in these programs in history. Closing arguments are underway in the murder trial of 3 white men charged in the killing of Ahmaud Arbery. The 25-year-old black man was shot and killed while jogging in a Georgia neighborhood. The 3 men charged in the case said that they thought Arbery was a burglar and that the shooting was in self-defense. Omar Villafranca reports from Brunswick, Georgia.
Jurors had 2 very different accounts as to why 3 white men charged with the murder of Ahmaud Arbery chased the 25-year-old through their neighborhood, ending with Arbery's death.
They made their decision to attack Ahmaud Arbery in their driveways because he was a black man running down the street.
If this was a case about wanting to murder a black jogger, if this was really a case about that, Travis would not have reacted the way he reacted.
65-year-old Gregory McMichael, his 35-year-old son Travis, and 52-year-old William Roddy Bryan all have pleaded not guilty to charges of murder, aggravated assault, and false imprisonment. The defense argued Travis McMichael followed Arbery in his truck because he wanted to detain him after social media reports from neighbors reported Arbery might have been stealing from a construction site. But there were never any police reports filed over theft at the construction site, and Arbery didn't have any stolen goods on him. Prosecutors said the McMichaels had no reason to pursue Arbery.
You have to have more than stale information from an unreliable source. A citizen's arrest is for emergency situations when the crime really happens right in front of you and you can take action right then and there to arrest somebody.
Travis McMichael's lawyer says his client feared for his life and acted in self-defense when Arbery refused to stop, charged toward their vehicle, and grabbed the shotgun.
You are allowed to use force that is likely to cause death or serious bodily injury if you believe it's necessary. At that moment, Travis believed it was necessary.
10 days of testimony concluded last week. Omar Villafranca, CBS News, Brunswick, Georgia.
Travis McMichael was the only defendant to take the stand. Arbery's mother was in tears when she entered the courtroom this morning. We want you to meet Gromit. That's a dog in California being trained to sniff out COVID-19 in people. The 2-year-old lab started life in guide dog school. That's when veterinarian Patty Unger found Robin and started training her for this harebrained idea of getting dogs to sniff out COVID-19. Dr. Unger says when we have a disease or a virus, our body will make chemicals that give off a certain smell that dogs can detect.
So 10 people that have COVID will all make this same smell. It was that real gee whiz moment of, this works. She actually knows what she's doing.
So far, Unger says that after extensive training, Gromit will have a near-perfect track record of sniffing out virus in people. Unger thinks with proper research and methods, dogs could be used across the country in places like airports. From 5 until 6:30 today, anyone in need of food is welcome to drive or walk up to the mobile food pantry that's located at Lutheran Church of the Cross, that's off of 16th Street East in West Fargo. The boxes consist of fruits, veggies, bakery, and meat items. If you show up today, you're going to be asked not to arrive sooner than 10 minutes. The boxes will soon be given out on a first-come, first-served basis. The traditional Fill the Dome campaign kicked off today at the Fargo Dome, and while donated items won't actually touch the floor of the Fargo Dome again, of course because of the COVID-19, community members are still encouraged to donate items at area schools, or you can do so virtually, all to benefit the Great Plains Food Bank. Just go to greatplainsfoodbank.org to donate. Gas prices are continuing to rise. What's happening here in the Valley? That's still to come on Valley News Live at 4.
But next, we'll talk about our weather. It's been a cooler day in northern Minnesota where peak temperatures have been only in the lower 20s for Roseau, Lake of the Woods area, and Baudette. Much warmer to the west, and that warmer air is heading our way. We'll have details on that, and we'll look ahead for you travelers on Wednesday. There could be wind and flakes for many. Details in a moment.